Welcome on in to the 411 podcast. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much. I definitely will. I'll check my DM. You can also text me at 609-738-0611 if anyone would like to reach out to me, give me some feedback on tonight's show, give me some feedback on these awesome burning questions. Text me at 609-738-0611. So before we go ahead and get started, I want to say thank you so much to my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me to come out here and give you all the 411 podcast one more time in life. A very special thank you to everyone who hung out with me last night for Reading Between the Wines. I had such a great time. Shout out to author Birdman. He came through and he did his thing. He always has a story, a deep story. And he definitely shared some more things, as far as having issues in a workplace and how he overcome those situations there. That was mind blowing for me because basically, don't think that you're the only one. And that's another reminder for me that as we go through this journey, as we continue to unfold and unwind, and people start to come on here and share their stories with me, lets me know that, we ain't in this alone. Somebody has either been down that same path, just like you have, or either they might be going through something or have been through something worse than what you have. So, Birdman shared some stories, and it was amazing. So check out Reading Between the Wines replay yesterday. I sampled 7 Sicilians. It's a wine with 7 different grapes. It was good. It was good. I actually poured myself a second glass. I think since I have started back up doing Reading Between the Wines this season, I think this was like the first or second time that I actually poured myself a second glass. So great show last night. Again, thank you so much. I saw SOS out there, and I'm trying not to name too many people because, I don't want to, miss anybody. But thank you all for coming out there. I appreciate it. So now we're going to get into the song of the day. Song of the day, Backstabbers. So I know y'all know that song, and hopefully I'm getting it right when it comes to the OJs. They did the original Backstabbers, but Junior Mafia redid it over in 1995 off of the Conspiracy album, Backstabbers. Of course, when Junior Mafia came out, I pretty much lost it because I was a huge Lil' Kim fan at the time, and this was way before her debut album came out. But we got to hear Lil' Kim on Get Money. We got to hear her on Players Anthem, and then the way she killed it on Backstabbers was, it was it. So what's going on, Birdman? I was just speaking about our replay from last night. So please go ahead and check that out. He always has some great stories, and you will definitely learn. And it was eye-opening yesterday. So thank you so much for coming on. So Backstabbers, 1995, off of the Conspiracy album. And you know how the song goes. They smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. The Backstabbers. So tonight we talking about false interpretation. So have you ever been in a situation where somebody has promised you something, somebody has sold you a dream, and I don't know whether you caught it or whether you went along with the plan? But I'll share a little story real quick before we get in, and we have Mr. JR Sparrow coming in tonight from West Virginia Uncommon Podcast. I done jumbled that up. West Virginia Uncommonplace Podcast. We have JR Sparrow coming in. So I'm going to talk about false interpretation. So somebody's selling you a dream. Somebody telling you a story. Maybe in your younger days, you didn't understand and you didn't know the difference. I like to say today, I'm so thankful that I have a better mind and level of discernment that I'm able to separate the BS from the truth, because before in the past I wasn't able to. And for people, if you are people pleasers and you want to get along with the get along, it's kind of hard, and you'll fall into the trap of people selling you a dream and giving you some false interpretation. So I'll share a story about when I was thinking that I was going to get into the music industry. And I'm from Trenton, Hamilton, New Jersey. And one of my, once back then at the time when I was doing it, the minute that I, recorded a song or let somebody hear it, that's when everybody start to come out of the woodworks, and they think that you're going to get on. They think that you're going to try to put them on, and, they think that everybody going to blow up and make a bunch of money. Well, at that time, I wasn't even on yet. So how am I going to get you on when I wasn't even on yet? So that's when everybody wants to come and say, yo, Laren, what's up? I got somebody who is a producer. Everybody was a producer back then. Everybody, knew this person who knew this person, and this one is selling records and all this stuff, and you going to do it. Well, the thing is that, which I wish I would have known back then, but I wanted to ask them, well, how come you ain't got nothing out yet? If you know this person and this person is all of that and this person has it going on like that, how come you ain't on yet? But, I was hyped up. I was trying to get into the game. So, I went along with the plan. And long story short, somebody sold me a dream saying that they was going to hook me up with this producer. And we sitting here riding around in a car in Trenton, New Jersey, which Trenton ain't that big, for over an hour. I done seen every parts in every corner over and over and over again trying to meet this producer. And if I known better, I would have realized that we was going in circles. They even got out of the car and started knocking on the door asking for this person, and this person was nowhere to be found. So that's an example of someone just, selling a dream. So have you ever been in a situation where somebody sold you a dream? Somebody lied to you. Somebody was giving you false hope. What's going on, Bethany? How you doing out there? We have Texas in the house. We have California in the house. So the thing is that, and I'm a stay on this. When you know better, you do better, right? So we know better today. I know better today after all of the things that I've been through, after all of the nonsense, the drama. I know better today, and I'm thankful that I'm able to separate the BS from the truth. Do you have any stories out there? Do you have any situations where somebody sold you a dream? Somebody was coming to you with some false information, and they knew that they was trying to get over, but you knew that they was trying to get over. See, the beauty behind it is when all of a sudden you learn how to be able to separate the BS from the truth. And sometimes it doesn't require you to go back and forth. It most certainly doesn't require you to call these people out. What it does is require you to just sit in the moment and listen and take it all in. And at the end of the day, long as you make the right decision, you good. Like, it doesn't require you to go back and forth and say, I know you telling me a lie. I know you trying to sell me a dream. I know you trying to pull the wool over. You don't even need to do all of that. As long as you can just take it all in and be like, I got this. Thank you. Remember I talked about, being thankful, having an attitude of gratitude when people do you wrong, when people all of a sudden show you who they are. Only thing we could do is say thank you. You know what? I'm so glad that I have a better understanding. I'm so glad that I have a better level of discernment, that I am able to separate the BS from the truth. And what I see here right now, something ain't right here. And see, when we get that feeling that's in our gut, that we know that something ain't right and something is false and something is wrong and something could be evil and something could be whatever you want to call it, and we don't listen on it and we don't act on it, and then we wonder why. We wonder why it becomes hell on earth. And I've been speaking about that for a minute. We write our own destiny. We put ourselves into the own situations that we're in. We fall into sometimes our own traps. So, false interpretation. Song of the day, Backstabbers, Junior Mafia, 1995, off the Conspiracy album. Has anybody sold you a dream? Has anyone tried to come to you with some false information? I know it's happened to me plenty of times. Especially when you're meeting somebody for the first time and they selling you a dream. Listen. All I have to say is just listen and pay very close attention to what people tell you out of their mouths when you first meet them for the first time. Because most of the time, they're going to show you and tell you exactly who they are. And it's up to you to connect the dots and put things into places where they're supposed to be. Don't let anybody sell you any dreams. Check for the false information that comes from these people. Now, I have something for you that I want to. That is why I'm a self-published author. Absolutely, you shared your story how somebody was selling you a dream and saying that they were going to, take you here, take you there. Just like I talked about the music industry, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. Every time I said, "Hey, I got a demo tape. You want to hear it?" Oh, I know this person. My cousin is this, and this one over here, and let's go over here, and please. The next thing you know, these people trying to come to the studio, and this and that, and the next the other. False interpretations. You coming with some you coming with some nonsense, you coming with something that ain't even real. Check this out. And of course, I talked to you about, the hook of Backstabbers. They smile in your face. And that's one thing, because a lot of people will smile in your face, but all the time they want to take your place. That's it. Most of the time, that's it. They just want to take your place. They just want to fill your shoes. And most of the time, stuff like that, when people come from areas like that, when people come, with energy like that, where they're trying to take over and they want something that you have, be very cautious of that. And speaking to us in general, people on the other side, that goes for us too when it comes to wanting what somebody else has. There's something to be said about wanting something that is not yours, wanting something that you can't have. And when you fight and you try to put yourself in a situation of wanting something that somebody else has, trust and believe that when you get it, you're going to get an eye opener. You're going to get a rude awakening. That's why we don't need to go back and forth with people. When people try to do us dirty, when people try to sell us a dream, when people try to get over, when they try to do the okey doke, it is what it is, because when they try to fill our shoes, only thing we can do is just do what we know how to do. And that's it. And just stay in your moment, be you. And they might try to come in and they might try to mimic, they might try to recreate, they might try to do whatever they want to do to get exactly what you have. But trust and believe when they get there, they ain't going to be happy, because it ain't authentically them and it ain't true. Only the true ones and only the truth survive in this whole thing. So I want to go ahead and read this here. This is from George Bernard Shaw. Beware of false knowledge. It is more dangerous than ignorance. This is a very simple one. Beware of false knowledge. It is more dangerous than ignorance. See, ignorance is when you don't know better. See, when you don't know better and nobody has brought this information to your attention, you don't know any better. You can't do any better because you don't know any better. Now, what's dangerous is when you know better and you don't do better. That's just a whole different situation. And we speak about false knowledge. So you know that it's wrong. You know that you coming with some ignorance. You know you coming with some nonsense. You know you coming with whatever you're coming with on purpose. So you being downright dirty. You being ignorant on purpose. You being just that's dangerous, because a person is coming with some intent and they're coming to do some harm. They're coming to wreak havoc. They're coming to shake it up. They're coming to change things. It's one thing if you don't know better. But if you're trying to get over on somebody, it's a very dangerous situation. And it could be dangerous for you. Because trust and believe, like I said, what did I say the other night? 3 things that can't be hidden from the Buddha: the truth, the sun, and the moon. What's done in darkness is going to come to light. Trust and believe. So you can try to get away with it for as long as you want to get away with it. But after a while, it's going to come. It's going to show up. Track 12, False Interpretation, Song of the Day, Backstabbers, Junior Mafia, 1995, off of the Conspiracy album. So let me know if you have any stories that you want to share with me about having that revelation where you realize that, wow, this here right here that I have going on, you showing up in front of me the way you're showing up, nah, this ain't real. Something ain't right. What's going on, Kim? How are you? This ain't real. Something ain't right. You coming? I'm not listening to that. I'm not falling for the track. Nah, I'm good. It's so good when you get to a point where you realize that. And I be seeing people from all different aspects saying what they gonna say, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And it's not for me to tell you. It's for me to just sit back and just be like, all right, cool. I ain't falling for the trap. We good. So we have Mr. JR Sparrow coming in. Now I want to speak about last night when I sampled the Seven Sicilian. So sampling the Seven Sicilian wine, it was really good. Like I said, I poured a second glass, and I spoke about the burning question, which Birdman answered. And through that, we discovered something about Christmas music. But the burning question last night was, if you could be, if you can spy on somebody electronically. So if you can spy on somebody electronically and be like a fly on the wall, anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place, who would it be? So Birdman, he said it would be Michael Jackson. So funny enough that he is speaking about Michael Jackson, because earlier in the day I was speaking about Michael Jackson because I'm, going through Christmas music and stuff, and I'm like, why hasn't Michael Jackson did a Christmas album? So I did my research, and of course the Jackson 5, they did a, you know, Christmas album, but I don't really consider that. I'm talking about grown up Michael. Why hasn't he done a Christmas album? And then somebody went back and forth and said, well, because he's Jehovah's Witness. Well, we can say that over and over again, but the whole family was. So why did the Jacksons 5 do a Christmas album if that was the case? So I don't know if I really want to, lean in that direction. But then Birdman brought it up to my attention too. He said Prince never did a Christmas album either. So interesting. But anyway, so if you want to hear about the back and forth when we were discussing that, check out the replay for Reading Between the Wines. I sampled 7 Sicilian's wine. It was a great wine with 7 different grape varietals, and it was on point. I would highly recommend that wine. Now, we're going to get into my special guest tonight, JR Sparrow from West Virginia Uncommonplace Podcast. So I'm excited about him because I want to learn about West Virginia. Very small state. I think I drove through it once or twice, but I have some questions to ask him about West Virginia and everything that's going on there. So let me tell you a little bit about Mr. JR. JR Sparrow, the host of West Virginia Uncommonplace Podcast and co-host of Sparrow's Under Review Podcast. JR runs a roving movie theater, and that business is called Sometime Cinema. He proudly helps podcasters maneuver from hobby to monetization and also tries to keep up with the latest podcasting technology. He is an avid R&B listener. That's good. I definitely have some questions to ask you about that. And runs a Twitch channel under the West Virginia Uncommonplace banner, playing any and all types of video games. Well, you got me on that one because when it comes to video games, I haven't played video games in a long time, so I can't help you with that one. But so let's go ahead and get Mr. JR Sparrow in here tonight and see what we got going on here.
Hello?
What's going on? What's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing, Mr. Dane?
I'm doing
Thanks
good.
for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, it has. Real quick before we get started, let me give you your flowers. I love the format and how you do your podcast because the greatest thing is, even if you miss it in one place, you can always find it in another place. And people don't think about the placement of their show, so you can go to Twitch and always catch your show if you missed it. And even though I know it's a call-in show, it's still amazing to still be able to get that replay value out of your show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You reached out to me last year and was like, "Hey, did you know you could do this? You could do that." So I respect people like that because you didn't have to reach out to me, and you at that time you didn't know me from a can of paint. So I appreciate that. I can tell that you definitely are truly out there helping, supporting, just like I mentioned earlier, helping other podcasters. So I got into the game, 2-3 years ago, and I didn't know anybody, I didn't know anything. So that's good that you reach out to people and help them.
Oh yeah, always.
So I got so many different questions.
Okay.
I have Kim says I got a girlfriend that lives there. So I got so many questions, and I don't want to run out of time, but so I'm going to get right into it. So how long have you been podcasting?
I have been podcasting since 2017.
Wow, that's a long time. What
Yeah.
what
I'm not a pandemic podcast. So yeah.
what sparked you to become a podcaster?
Originally me and my partner Tuesday, we had the original Uncommonplace podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I had a great dynamic with it. And it got picked up by a podcast network, and in the transition, she bought me out of that podcast. So I got into podcasting because it's always someone that doesn't get their voice heard, or someone that doesn't have the initiative to put their voice out there. So I always wanted to find people that have great stories, maybe not even like content creators, and just great stories that I hear in my travels. I'm like, hey, would you ever want to do a radio show or a podcast? Because most people, podcasting didn't get really big until the pandemic got really, really big during it. And a lot of people just thought it was internet radio. Mm-hmm. So I got to start just to let other people express their story.
That's awesome. Now, West Virginia. I know your title was West Virginia, the Uncommonplace Podcast. You rep West Virginia because that's where you're from, right?
Oh, that's where I live, yes. Okay. I'm originally from Virginia, but I've been living here for over 20 plus years.
Okay. So from what I know, I've only driven through once. I think I was going to Missouri, and I had to drive through real quick. Boom. Because it seems like the minute that I got into the state, I was out of the state just that quick. Less than 30 minutes, you're out of that state. So
if you're the top coming from where you're coming from, you would only touch a part and then go into Ohio real quick.
Right. So why does West Virginia get a bad name, get a bad reputation, put it that way?
All right, so I'll do this real quick. So West Virginia gets a bad representation. And mind you, I'm 38 years old, so I'm going to go through the short part first.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a misrepresentation thinking that West Virginia as a state was formed because they didn't want to be a part of slavery. And the truth on it is that they had nothing to do with slavery. They just didn't want to be taxed by the state of Virginia and them being so far away from it, because it was all one place at one time. Mm-hmm. And the next thing is that the movie Wrong Turn, which everybody's seen Wrong Turn.
Oh, yes.
That people think that that Wrong Turn movie is really what West Virginia is like insects and stuff like that, and it's not the case.
Well, let me tell you that I know what you're talking about because somebody told me about it, that there's a part of... Actually, you know what? I had somebody on my podcast a couple years ago that is from your area, And he did say that there is a small part that is very rough. I think that's what he said. He was from West Virginia. I could be incorrect, but I'll go back and reach out. But so you're telling me that you're telling me that none of that exists in West Virginia.
Well, I'm going to clarify one thing. So what happened is in the older times, like we're going to go like from 1940 and back.
Okay.
Mental retardation was not treated in the United States very well. So West Virginia had a lot of asylums. And in these asylums, sometimes, living in some of these places out here, there has been incest. Incest is something that has happened all over the United States. But for some reason, it was heavily documented here because when incest did happen, the offspring would end up in these asylums. And some of them had ultra strength and different things like that. And that's where you get like the greatest thing that people associate with West Virginia for some reason is the character from The Goonies. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, absolutely. That was one of my favorite movies. Yep.
Right. So people for some reason associate, and you can go look on the web that in the early 40s, even up to like maybe hold on, let me look at something. Hold on. I had it written down. Up until like the early 70s, there were these people that weren't being taken care of, so the state put them in asylums because they didn't know how to take care of them. And obviously these families that were living in what we call a holler, which is a one-way road that goes in and comes out, some of these people didn't leave that area, so, in certain parts, in the northwestern part, the closest part that goes up, like, northeastern portion that touches Virginia, Pennsylvania, down there in that area is the most mountainous, so it's the highest elevation. So a lot of the people, some of that stuff did occur. And what's been happening at these asylums and stuff like that, there's pictures and there's documents of these people with ultra strength and doing all this crazy stuff. So that's where the connotation comes from, or that's where it comes from, and that's where the connotation comes that West Virginia, a bunch of hillbillies want to play bandits and protect.
Well, I'm glad that don't exist anymore, but I haven't visited the state, and thank you for clarifying that because that movie Wrong Turn and Hills Have Eyes and all that stuff, like I'm good. I'm good with that. Things can happen during the daytime. That's how you know it's rough. They don't wait for nighttime. They'll get you during the day.
Right, and so we have a rough exterior here. Like people here, like it's like 30 degrees here, and I just have on a long sleeve shirt. 30 degrees when I'm in New Jersey. I've got the whole North State.
Absolutely.
I'm not coming outside.
Yeah.
Right, 30 degrees is cold, and here 30 degrees is you put a hoodie on and put a sweatshirt and put some shorts on and put some slides on to keep getting up.
I'm sorry. You lost me when you said put shorts on in 30-degree weather.
We put shorts on and put hoodies on, and then we put on like flip-flops or slide on sandals, and just go about our business.
And you know what I have to say about that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not do that, period. Sorry. I have to be super warm. But okay. I guess your 30 degree is much different than mine over here.
Right. And always remember this one, if anybody ever talks about it, but we're at such a high elevation that
true.
Like when you actually travel to West Virginia, the air is different here. Like the atmosphere, it's a different type of cold here.
I would think that it would be colder if it's at a higher elevation.
Yeah, it's cold, but the air it's not dry like people think it would be. So
I gotcha.
If you've been here for years, or even it takes a bit to get acclimated. And then after that, you're pretty much good. Now, me, myself, I still bundle up because I still travel to other places, and I know the difference in the cold.
I know that if anything is cold, it's just cold to me, and I'm good. I like my temperature to be I'm happy at 75, 80 degrees and higher. I can live with that. That's what I like.
I like 52 degrees, 60 degrees. 60 degrees is good for me. I can sleep in 50-degree weather. 50 or I'm older. And when I was younger, it didn't matter. When I was young, I loved the cold. I would go out in the snow, just in some shorts and some shoes and just train for wrestling or whatever I was doing at the time of school. But now, once it gets like to 40, I'm worried about things.
I feel you. All right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I have so many questions to ask you, and I want to stay on track, and I don't want to jump around too much. So, what are some of the things that you discuss on your podcast? Because there's so many different things. I've seen you interviewing people. I've seen you documenting specific areas, not just West Virginia, other different places. I've seen you sample specific foods from West Virginia. So I think specifically there was some chips and stuff, and I'm like, that's interesting.
Yes.
So
and next time I'm out your way, I'll bring you a bag of 3 or 4 chips. They're an amazing chip. So basically, this podcast, it started out as an interview podcast, and it started out as a hobby for me when I brought it back. Well, a man in Europe took one of my interview episodes, and he just started promoting it for no reason. And I didn't go viral or anything like that, but I got streamlined into getting a PR firm that wanted to start working with me and paying me to interview people and doing all this stuff, just off of the merit of this one guy in Ireland sharing my show, and he wrote a blog and everything about it. Like, it's still going on. So from that point on, I started getting deeper into podcasting because I wanted to learn the business portion, because I noticed that inside podcasting, it's a very fun atmosphere. But if you want to integrate a business or do anything with it, if you don't have someone to at least tell you the rigors of it, it is a very hard churn, like you're churning butter. It takes a long time to get traction. So I learned the industry. And in between that time, I met all these different people, and with the travels with my job, it made it to where I was kind of like, hey, you met this guy, you shook this guy's hand, this guy's telling me how he does this and that. So what I did was, from every person, I looked at the different traits that I was learning from people, and I looked at the flaws that I've seen in it, and I looked at the flaws of myself and what I was doing, and seeing where I could mesh certain things that made sense with being inside a society culture podcast. So the one thing that I did was, I realized that I didn't need to niche down. I needed to genre hop ever so often, as long as I had amazing curation with what I'm doing.
That's some good knowledge. I was told, and it is hard. A lot of people say how hard it is to podcast and to get recognition and the whole nine. So I was told roughly about you would have to continue to hustle and flow for 10 years before you could even think about seeing. Is that accurate? Have you heard the same thing about 10 years?
That's what I've heard, similar things, but I am here to tell you that is not true. What it takes in podcasting, and this is just, this is a little bit that I used to do on my podcast talk. This is real simple. It takes 2 types of people. It takes a person that's business savvy, and then it takes, in that same person, and this is the next part, a person that can be personable. Not everybody can do that, because some people have a business face, but they don't have that personable face. And to be personable, you have to have an intimacy with people that you can develop very fast. So levels of intimacy that you develop with people are giving them that authority. For instance, with me personally, I love music, but I can't have musical guests on my show because I'm not an authority in that. I'm only authority in movies and projectors. Projectors are my thing, and all that other stuff. And then, like I talked to you previously about a certain album and a certain artist that we both like, and we also like people that work with him, like Mary J. Blige. And
wait.
That right there, that's the connection between you.
That was going to be the next thing we talk about. I said that was going to be the next thing we were going to talk about. But go ahead, hurry up.
Remember it was Diddy? have an instant connection there. And then where you're from, I've been all around where you're from. And the culture that you put out there via your images and things like that, that's you being personable with people. Because when people see your image out there, when they see you on TikTok, they see you on Instagram, they see you in those places, you build a rapport that people can be like, hey, this is somebody that can come have Thanksgiving with. Hey, this is somebody that can come to the crib and we can watch a movie and we can discuss it after we watch it. Or hey, this is somebody that can take me and we can go wine tasting and go see a movie at a boutique that's serving wine and affirmated cheese and things like that. You know what I mean? Or you could go with me to the Greek in Philadelphia and know what I'm talking about when we're at the Greek, and you know the difference between Germantown, Upper Darby, and you know that we don't go to Villanova because that's not where we belong. So you have that. So building that just from seeing what you do, I made all that up right there, but you put all that out in the world. So if you can be personable and then you can be tactical with your business. And when I say your business, it's not about getting 10,000 downloads. It's not about even getting 100 downloads. It's having a solid number. Like if you have only 20 listeners to your show, that's people that listen to your show and they go beyond your show. They check the show notes. They check the after portion. Mm-hmm. That's how you get into a business portion with the podcast and you're making money. People think that it's actually the podcast. It's the engagement and the activity that you do after someone listens to your show that bring people to it. So you see words like podcast, and I think it's a little hard right there because I went from one area and then I went to a totally different swing on that, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. What's going on, SOS? Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate that. Yeah, 2023 for me is, grabbing a hold and getting a hold of my business aspect of it. Because when I first started, I just, ran out there. I was being reckless on so many different aspects. A lot of times I was reckless with my mouth. So I had to,
the early product was wild. I liked it.
I had to reel it back in if I wanted to continue to do this for a long haul. Once people started to reach out and say, hey, I like that episode and this really helped me, I started to realize that this has nothing to do with me and everything to do with, how I, give to the community. So I definitely had to do something a little bit different. So this year has definitely been the more business aspect of it. So thank you so much for those pointers and those tips. I appreciate that. So, music. You touched a little bit about music as far as how you said you can't interview music guests?
Yeah, I can't. I love R&B music. Mm-hmm. I love 80s R&B and I love certain R&B. I'm not going to say I'm contemporary because some of the R&B now is a little, but I can't interview people, musicians and stuff like that because that's not an authority. That's not something that, when you look at JR Sparrow, you know JR Sparrow for two things, or three things. That's the interview style, like the 2020 interviews that I do. You know me for the movie stuff that I do on the second podcast, number one. And if anybody sees me on TikTok, they know I'm covering my sponsor. I'm always doing something with projectors. So, I'm an authority in telling you that if you want a home theater or you want a portable projector, or if you want to know something about certain movies or genre, I can do that. But I love music. I wish I could do it. But I didn't start that early, and people know me for certain things now,
I got you. Okay, so let's talk music. Who's your favorite R&B singer? Whether it's male, female, who's your favorite?
All right, can we do male and
female? Listen, this is my thing here. Go right ahead.
All right, so look, my male, this is wild. It's an artist named PJ Morton.
Oh, what? Oh, I was just listening to him all week long. I know who you're talking about. That's crazy.
Listen, PJ Morton, and it's because sometimes I feel like he's an indie artist still, even though he's with Maroon 5 or whatever he's been doing. PJ Morton has a sound that I love.
Listen,
And I can listen to his album from start to finish.
I have been spinning that track with him, Jill Scott, and I forgot who the last person is, but it's called Still Believe.
Yeah.
I've been rocking that all week long, just nonstop. I love it. Love it. All right, so I got you on that one. All right.
All right. And then he had a song with JoJo. Remember JoJo?
Oh, that one's dope too.
She's
Yeah.
like a teeny pop.
Yeah.
My Pete with Mr. Tollbox on it. That was my damn there. Now my R&B on this is crazy. Like people think that I want to say like Mary J. Blige or this one or that. It is Deborah Cox.
Interesting.
Canadian singer, and Deborah Cox, because she did background vocals for Whitney Houston and quite a lot of other people.
Mm-hmm,
and she wrote a lot of songs that people don't give her credit for. But when I was a young man, I'm talking about a young boy, so 38, I'm in the mid 90s R&B. When she came out with Sentimental, I play Sentimental every day. I mean, it don't mean nothing to me now, but back in the day as a young man, I used to sing that because a girl broke my heart in school, and I see her with the other guy, and I got sentimental. I got a little fault in the game, as they used to say, and I would sing that song. My sister would sing it, and now my mom, she was cultured with us, so we had 45 and stuff. She would still go get records. We had Deborah Cox on record back then, and then we moved on to CDs and stuff. I mean, we had cassette all the time, but listening to that stuff, and then just like, outside of that, as an R&B group, I hate to throw this one in. As an R&B group, I like Shalimar.
Who?
Shalimar.
Oh, you took it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second time around, J.D. Watley had a sound that just was unbearable, and Howard Hewitt, the other dude, I don't remember him singing, but Howard Hewitt and J.D. Watley, second time around, just anything that they did, that was classic. I know a lot of people would think that I'm going to say, would have said Michael Jackson or something like that, because that's a lot of stuff that I detail, like Moonwalker and stuff like that, but Michael Jackson to me is my favorite entertainer. But yeah, those are my R&B. What about you?
Well, when it comes to the men, I love Carl Thomas. He's one of my all-time favorites.
Ooh.
Because, I shared
I just was listening to I wish I heard better.
I shared a story about how I used to think that I was going to get into the music industry. So if I was to break through in the music industry, I would give you Carl Thomas vibes. I would give you vibes like Cisco, like when he was hot, on his own, not with Drew Hill.
Right.
Even with Drew Hill, that's fine too. But when he did his thing, it was so easy for me to sing like Carl Thomas. It was so easy for me to sing like Cisco. So I love that vibe. So for the men, I would say that category. Anybody that sounds like them, that's not doing too much, you know what I'm saying? They just know. Even like, PJ, the same thing, they're not doing too much. The music is right. The lyrics is right. It just sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Of course, when it comes to the female, my girl Mary J. Blige. I've been a fan since I was 11 years old. So that's some long. We got some history right there. And SOS says she loves Deborah Cox. Kim says that PJ has a Christmas album out. I don't know if you know about that. Birdman says that. Birdman says that Deborah Cox is his girl. Now, I'll tell you, when it comes to Deborah Cox, Still in Love with RL. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely love that one. Love it. Let's see. I love Sade. Absolutely love Sade. Anita Baker.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking it back to,
And see, I would.
Go ahead.
Right. My thing is, I love Anita Baker, but in my travels, I'm originally from Virginia, so I used to go to D.C., and I got to see her perform at some of the jazz festivals as a young kid. The politics behind Deborah Cox, not behind Anita Baker, and it's not that she's a deal, but she's she's a little bit difficult to deal with, as you know, with the whole babyface situation. I lost a lot of respect for her as a performer because she's tough out there in these streets like Mariah Carey. When it comes to those live shows, she has a certain way and a certain type of aspect that she wants it done. And if it's not done her way, I've seen in 2 occasions that she didn't perform.
Well, you know, I think
in the early 90s.
I think when artists have built themselves up to that, and I'm going to put myself in their shoes too, like even podcasting. A couple nights ago, I tried to podcast, something wasn't right, something wasn't working, so I just didn't do it because I didn't want it to come out like shit. So I can see how an artist of a caliber will be like, absolutely not. If it's not sounding right, then I'm not going to come out here, especially in this day and age, because you know how people got their cell phones, they got this, that, the next, the other, and then they're going to turn around and say, oh, this person was having a bad night. Did you hear how she sound? This happened, that happened. So, I know I would be like that if I was in the music industry and I want my sound to be top notch. And if y'all half stepping, y'all gonna make it look like I'm out there half stepping. So when it comes to those singers, I respect them when they just say, you know what? But it's all on how you deliver it to the fans and let them know, listen, tonight's not the night because something's not happening the way it should be.
And one thing I will say that there's someone in the background that I listen to that people sleep on, and it's not Kim because everybody knows Kim, but Joe Thomas.
Who?
Joe is my overall Joe.
I don't know who that is.
I don't want to be a player.
Joe. Oh, just Joe.
You don't know who Joe is?
No, I thought
Joe.
you.
But it's full of Joe Thomas. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said Joe
Joe
Thomas.
to me is the most. Yeah, his name is Joe Thomas. I'm sorry.
I thought okay.
That's his full name.
Okay.
But Joe, so Joe to me as a complete artist, like if you're talking about delivering in the studio sound that you get to what you hear live, Joe, like, and he's going on tour again. I'm gonna go see him because he doesn't tour very often. He's touring with Tamia actually, which is wild. Joe is the complete R&B package. He can write, he can sing, he can do the melody, and he harmonizes like no other.
You know, I just wonder what happened to him.
Label disputes. That's the biggest thing with any of them. Like he was on subsidiary Interscope, then he went over to Motown, and he just went on the independent circuit. And he's like the rest of them. He's been making his money the last few years just full concert scene.
Yeah, like
he's still releasing music, but like Joe, Joe had a solid run from like 96 to like 2004. And then he just fell off.
Yeah, I mean, people think that the music industry is just.
But he's like a boss.
Yeah, they think that the music industry is just this wonderful thing, but the way they take these artists and they chew them up and spit them out, it's rough. So when you have an artist who has survived and been around for so long and continues to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, that's why I respect Mary J. Blige. A lot of people be like, hey, well, she's not the best singer ever. You know what? I'm not even going to say that Mary J. Blige is the best singer out there. I know what Mary does and what I need, what works for me. But the fact that what I want anybody to know is I'm talking about longevity. This chick has been around for how many years and still doing it. So that's what I'm talking about. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about my girl, but y'all can't stunt on her when it comes to being able to survive the cruelty of, this music industry and how, you're hot one day and then you're not the other. And this chick has been able to reinvent herself decade after decade after decade. So listen, anybody coming after me.
And my thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say anybody
I was going to say, especially
Go ahead.
All right, I was going to say Casey, Haley, and Kate. Her dealing with them and everything that went on between them two guys and her. And then, basically she was, to me, and I always say this about Uptown Records, she was what made Uptown Records. Like, Adrian Carell can, he passed away, I think, correct, right?
He did, yeah.
The guy that was, him being a mastermind, and, Diddy was on the ones and twos on the remix, and different stuff like that. Like, that was something that, even to this day, I get chills when I think about Mary J. Blige at the very beginning. And me and you both know this personally. That Waiting to Exhale soundtrack,
I remember being.
Moms would just stop me.
I remember being. What was I? I don't know. 13, 14 when that came out. I didn't have my license, but I remember sitting in the back seat of the car, and it was during winter time. I think it came out November, December, so Christmas time, all that, in and out of the stores, in and out of the car. I just counted how many times it came on the radio over and over and over again, and me being a Mary fan at that time, I was just like, yes, she finally made it. This is it. And that was it. That was it. It really was, because Mary was she was known in the hood for What's the 411 My Life album, but that Waiting to Excel just elevated her to a whole nother level. And then once Share My World came out, it was a wrap. So
right, and I to this day, like when I go back, because Exhale during Valentine's Day for some reason, but I watch that movie every year, and it's just like the way that it plays in there. When Angel's Masters and got to the point where she's done, I'm not going to cry. It's spiritual. It's spiritual.
It is. Well, you weren't lying, though. You really weren't lying when you said you are into R&B music. You brought it back, like Shalimar. Jody Watley. My favorite song from her is "Friends." I remember that.
Okay.
I love that. For real, I mean, she starts off, "Have you ever been stabbed in the back by someone you thought was really cool?" I mean, all of us can relate to that. Song of the day tonight was "Backstabbers" by Junior Mafia. I could have easily threw the Jody Watley in there, but yeah. So you definitely brought it back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just run through a real quick list. We talked about Sade. We talked about Anita Baker, Shalimar. I'm gonna even take it back. Do y'all remember Vanessa Williams? Remember that song she had, "Dreamin'"?
Oh yeah.
Off of the Right Stuff album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling. We definitely did it though when it comes to music though. Joe, you even said his real name. I'm like, who the hell is Joe Thomas?
Yeah. Yeah, that was solid. If you I tell everybody do this. I know some people have Spotify, if you're an Apple person like me or whatever. Find Joe's essential, and the only thing I tell you that Omet is Stutter. Stutter is the song that I think with the Castro that he did with Mystical.
Oh my God, that's my joint. That is my joint.
No, you gotta think more is more. All the things your man won't do. That song right there, when I was a kid, that was like 94, 95. It was 96 because it was on.
It was 90.
90 minutes to society while drinking your juice in the hood. It was on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
And he said this dirty line, I don't know if I'm going to get away with this, but he said, take me to the subway and I will go down.
Oh, yeah.
And as a kid, I thought that meant, I would just take her to the subway and go get something to eat. So in the comedy show, I'm taking this song. And I'm thinking that, and I'm kind of flared spiritual, like that. My hair's curly, so it always looks like I got a dairy curl. So I had to, say I had a dairy curl. I had the curl going on, and I'm thinking it like I'm an 80s singer. I would remind you of the guy that was singing on, what's the Eddie Murphy movie? Coming to America. Coming to America. All key and everything. And the parents heard me singing it, and they just, they're snapping. And where I'm from was a predominantly white area, so, they're just snapping and going over it. And my mom jerked me off the stage after I was done. She said, "Do you know what you just said?" And she didn't tell me what I said. So mind you, I went 15 years, or, until you get to that with Tornadoes, and then I listened to it again, and I realized what it was.
You know that's funny that you said that because I remember that too. When I wasn't even paying attention to what he was saying back then, but recently, a couple years ago, I listened to it again and I was like, wow, Joe was really doing it back then, wasn't he? He really was.
Yeah.
He really was. That came out around the same time that the Junior Mafia did, so that must have been 94, 95 that came out.
Yeah, it was somewhere around that time, but I remember he had an album, but I remember it was set on Don't Be a Menace to Society While Drinking Your Dukes in the Hood because the love scene in it with Marlon Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
It played just a little extra of it. Yeah.
Yes.
I told you, my middle name is Nostalgia.
That was one of my favorite movies. See, I like silly movies like that. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Wow. So it's almost time for us to get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have JR Sparrow from West Virginia Uncommonplace Podcast. We talked about West Virginia with the culture and the history. Spoke definitely about music. We touched a little base on weather and temperature because, I like nice warm climates. Yeah, we definitely went in tonight. So now is the segment where I'm going to go ahead and hit you with a burning question. So anybody out there who wants to respond to the burning question, wants to join in, you can drop it in the comments. That would be great. You can also text me at 609-738-0611 if you'd like me to bring up your burning question on a future podcast. Some of these burning questions that y'all be texting me, I can't repeat some of these things. So try to keep it as clean as possible. I can't turn some of these things into burning questions that I'm telling you, I've been getting some things lately that are out of control. But anyway, burning question. All right. Okay, so if you could read into your life's future, what would you want to know and why? I'll repeat that again. So if you could read into your life's future, what would you want to know and why?
Okay, for me, and this is wild, I would want to know if I would become a cult classic in podcasting or just in life, or would I become famous and popular? I want to be a cult classic because famous and popular, trendy stuff, it's at the top, and then people are the loneliest because they're just alone. But a cult classic, he's a following. So I would want to know if I become a cult classic with someone. Like I want that Rocky Horror type of appeal in life for somebody, or I want that Dave Hollister feel. I want to know in the future if I have that Dave Hollister respect. Because we love Dave Hollister. We don't talk about him. He's on our playlist. But when someone say Dave Hollister, you go Chicago. That's what you think. And you don't even think Black Street. You think his solo work.
Right.
My favorite girl. That's what I want to know. I'm not going to be Dave Hollister in the future.
Okay, that's a good one. For me, if I had to, I don't want to look into my future because I've had that done and I don't like that. Because when things start to happen, I'm like, interesting. That's what happens when you start to dig in and mess with stuff. You just need to leave it alone. So I'm not sure that I really would want to know, but just to go along with this question, since we sitting here talking about music, I'm gonna say something crazy, but I'll just be wanting to know when the next Mary album coming out. When the next Mary album coming out, girl? Because I'm tired of waiting. When is it coming out? But yeah, that's pretty. Honestly, for my life, I really don't want to play around with it and dig into it. And I know
I can respect that.
I know that doesn't make right for this burning question for me to participate that way, but honestly, I really wouldn't want to Today, the person I am, I'm just, going with the flow, living in the moment. And that's pretty much it.
Right. Riding the vibe that you got.
Because I used to be like, oh my God, I wonder what. Oh, I wonder what. Oh, how's it going to happen? Oh, is this person going to like me? What should I do? And all this other crazy. I used to be like that. And I'm good today. So good on all that today. Well, sir, I want to say thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate that. And good night, SOS. I appreciate you for hanging out there. Thank you so much for coming on. And we definitely have to do this again. So.
Oh, yes, most definitely. We'll definitely have to have you on West Virginia Uncommonplace. And we're going to do an R&B meltdown. I'm going to have to set that up for something that we'll record it probably next month if you got free time and do it. We'll do it in February. We might have to do 2 or 3 episodes of music, R&B meltdown. We might have to go, we can go deep. We can go 60s up to the 90s.
I can't fool with you when it comes to the 60s because I didn't catch on to music until like the 70s. So the 60s, that's going back a little bit too much, but 70s and on, I got you. I got you. 70s on down, I got you.
You weren't on the Motown sound?
What is it?
The Motown sound wasn't part of your life?
I mean, it was, but it all depends on what artist you're talking about. Really, honestly.
Okay. Right. I mean, we can go, like, I was just saying, like, David Ruffin, Marvin Gaye.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
And the longest longevity is Smokey Robinson. He's still making music.
Oh, yeah, still doing it.
He's never going to pass away.
Still doing it.
Right.
Johnny Taylor. That's one of my favorites, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So maybe. I just didn't pay attention to the dates though, but 70s definitely. 70s on down.
Yeah, okay. We'll definitely we'll coordinate it, get it rocked out.
That's what's up. I'm not really a Diana Ross fan. I'm really not. I mean, I like some songs, but I'm not like over the top over Diana Ross. Not over the top.
Hold on, I do need to ask one question. I'm sorry to take over your podcast. What is your thought on The Wiz?
Say it again.
What are your thoughts on the movie with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross called The Wiz?
Oh, that's a classic. First of all, that's all I knew when it came to The Wizard of Oz. I grew up off of The Wiz. I never watched the full version of The Wizard of Oz. I grew up off of The Wiz, so that's what I know. So that's my Wizard of Oz. When they were in school, oh my God, did you see The Wizard of Oz? No, I can't even tell you any parts of it. But I'll tell you about that Michael Jackson and Wiz, though. I'll tell you that much. That's what I grew up off of. I felt awkward in school because I went to an all-white school pretty much. I was like the only one in there. And when they talking about The Wizard of Oz, I'm sitting there looking at them like crazy. And I'm talking to them, do you know what The Wiz is? And they're like, no. Well, I don't know what The Wizard of Oz is. Sorry. And that was in the early 80s that was going on.
And I respect that because I'm gonna have to get me, you, and another podcaster together. There's a podcaster that I knew named King Durham that lives in North Carolina. He up and down lives about The Wizard of Oz. And he says The Wiz is crap. And I think we could have a good dynamic with that. Because if you compare them both, there's no comparison. There ain't no competition. It's just The Wiz.
I can't believe somebody would say that. Okay, that'll be interesting.
Right.
I love JR Walker and the All Stars. Okay.
Yeah.
Diana Ross, I would say the equivalent to Diana Ross. I would say Beyonce is our Diana Ross of that generation. Put it that way. Diana Ross is she's in her own. You have to disagree. She's in her own category. You Can't really compare too many people to Diana Ross, just like you can't really compare too many people to Beyonce.
But with that, I disagree because Aretha Franklin and Beyonce are.
No.
Because to me, when we talk about specialty, Aretha Franklin, Beyonce, and Luther Vandross.
See,
it's a different. They're in a whole different planet from other ones.
See, I'm talking about like then versus now. So Beyonce is like that Diana Ross back then. Now you want to talk about the Aretha Franklin? That's Mary J. Blige. And there's no hands down. Can't nobody take that away. The Mary J. Blige is the Aretha Franklin of this generation here, of mine anyway. Like years go on. You know how Aretha Franklin got her flowers and all of that, and she's the queen and all of that. Mary J. Blige, I don't care if she puts another album out today or tomorrow. She has that title, and she's going to go down as the Aretha Franklin of our generation. That's what I'm talking about, that type of stuff.
I can see that. Okay, yeah.
You know, like when one...
I can see that. Because Diana Ross had that plan.
Yeah, like when one exits, somebody takes over. So even though, you know, Diana Ross is still here, but she's just her own little thing. You know what I mean? She's just different, just like Beyonce's different.
Right.
I don't know. That's just me. What do I know?
Almost like what I thought Donna Summer. Yeah, because Diana Ross to me is almost is what I wanted Donna Summers to be, but she wasn't.
That's a good one too.
We'll have to do that for another show.
So, Kim, you think that Jennifer Hudson is the Aretha Franklin? Is that what I'm reading? Only reason why I would say that Jennifer Hudson is not is because she doesn't have the catalog. Like, Aretha Franklin's catalog was just stupid. It was just ridiculously crazy. And the only reason why I compare Mary is because Mary's catalog is ridiculously crazy, you know, because of the decades of spans of hits and collaborating with so many different people. Like Aretha Franklin even did like country music and opera music. And when you think like, you know, Mary J. Blige, the hip hop ghetto queen, she's done songs with Elton John, Sting, George Michael, you know, just weird combinations like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, she's done some country stuff too with Kid Rock, and anyway, we'll be doing this all night. All right. See, I'm not messing with you when it comes to music because we're gonna be sitting here talking about this all night. So I'm getting out of here.
Right.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll holler at you.
All right, no doubt.
All right, take care. See ya.
All right, you too.
I see your comments. You know, you might be right, but I don't know. I'm just saying. I have to look at Jennifer Hudson's full catalog. I know she has done some different type of music too. Definitely. So that was a great show, JR from the West Virginia Uncommonplace Podcast. Y'all, please go ahead and check him out and support him. He definitely has supported me. So great episode tonight. Thank you all so much. Now, if you'd like to continue the conversation with me, one-on-one private conversations, you can head on over to LarenGaines.com and you can sign up for the coaching sessions, and we can have one-on-one private conversations catered to your needs. Again, that's LarenGaines.com. You can also text me at 609-738-0611. Also, if you are a traveler, if you like adventure, if you want to vacation, check me out. I can help you build an itinerary, and I can help you save some money as well. Text me 609-738-0611. Let me know where you'd like to vacation, and we can start the conversation there. Also, I have something coming up next month called Whispers of Wisdom. It's a new newsletter that's going to come out once a month. It's going to have so many different topics that we go over here on the podcast. You're going to get a little bit of the 4-in-1, reading between the wines. I'm going to give you a wine of the month that I sample. We're going to give you some travel information. You're going to get availability as far as the vacation spots that I have available all over the country. What else we have? Small little inspirational quotes and small little wisdom nuggets. You're going to get a whole bunch of different things. Everything basically Laren, if you want to stay up to date on that. Head on over to LarenGaines.com. Sign up for Whispers of Wisdom newsletter, and you're going to get one little small email delivered to your mailbox once a month. On that note, we have Miss Retta Flag coming in tomorrow, reading between the wines. Thank you so much. So remember, we have reading between the wines on Wednesdays, and we have it on Friday as well. I can't believe we back here again tomorrow, sampling some more wine. So come back tomorrow. One of my favorite authors, Retta Flag. Another mystical situation. I think the show tonight was very mystical because some of the artists that JR was speaking about and talking about, I had already been playing and talking about it as well. Same type of information and conversation happened with Retta Flag last year. I was thinking about a book, I was thinking about a specific topic, and she comes on the show, and boom, it's like she took everything straight out of my brain. So I can't wait to catch up with her and see exactly where she's at this moment. Author Retta Flag coming in tomorrow, reading between the wines. We gonna wind down. Bring your wine. Come in, check us out. Like, comment, share, tag a friend. Let them know what we got going on. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there. SOS, Kim. We have Birdman out there. Check out his replay. Thank you, JR, for coming through. The Ice King showed up last night. I appreciate you as well. Thank you all so much. Take care. Have a good night.